Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So this is the first live stream for 2025. I have had like a 2-week pause, just took a little bit of time off, and there wasn't really much going on in the markets, so it didn't really make sense to have a live stream. Usually when the markets are a bit dead, the views are pretty low. So we have Olivia. I'm waiting as I'm currently on live prop from account. I guess Live is doing a prop from account. Nice, good luck. Meg says, hello, brother. How are you? I'm great. How are you? All the best in the new year. If you guys have any questions, just make sure to put it in the chat. Any chart requests, psychology questions, risk management, trading strategy, I cover them all. So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down my 6 currency pairs. If you're wondering which ones I'm trading live, it is gonna be these ones right here. Let's just start fresh. So these 6 currency pairs is what I'm trading, and then we're gonna do some very, let's say, not important but kind of main instruments that people like to see. So we have the S&P, Nasdaq, gold, Bitcoin, DXY, and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into it right now. In terms of news, we're going to cover a little bit of a news background. So what is going on? Well, we do have NFP tomorrow. Okay, so NFP is going to be tomorrow. Usually it is on the first Friday of the month, but because we had the New Year's, I guess they didn't have enough time to prepare all of the information. So they pushed it to the second Friday of the month, which is going to be tomorrow. My best advice for you guys is to just go to the settings and events and have the economic events enabled. And that is going to enable you to basically have these little boxes on the bottom, and you're going to see non-farm payrolls. After that, we have, okay, this is not that important, but this is really important, unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls. If you guys are wondering what is my strategy of handling NFP, preparing for the non-farm payroll, well, it is basically to stop trading, stop executing new setups at around 1 to 2 in the morning, or 1 to 2 a.m. on NFP Friday. So that is my trade cutoff time. If I'm already running a trade, so if I'm running a buy setup or a sell setup into NFP, I will just keep managing it according to my trailing stop loss. And yeah, that is about it. I'm not going to be going into new positions. Another big news event that we have is we have the basically Trump is going to take office. Okay, so at what date does Trump go into office? Let's check it out. So, okay, it says he will soon take office. I guess it's gonna happen in like 1 or 2 weeks. Let's ask ChatGPT. That's gonna be our best bet. ChatGPT, when is Trump getting into office? And this is important. So this information is pretty important. Okay, looks like it's searching. Okay, it's gonna be on the 20th of January 2025. All right, so that is our event. 20th of January 2025 is gonna be the date that Trump actually takes the office. Now, a lot of traders, a lot of bigger players are for sure gonna be sitting on the sidelines. I talked about this with Trader Nick today on his channel. But basically, a lot of players will be sitting on the sidelines, and the markets are not going to be that active. So it's not unusual if, let's say, in these 10 days, now it is kind of the 9th, the 10th. So it's not unusual if in the next 10 days you get a little bit of flat price action, stagnant price action, as the people wait to see what will happen. Will Trump put in some policies? What will Trump do on day one? Will he stick to some of his plans? Of course, you have crypto as well. If you take a look, crypto is pretty much falling apart a little bit right here, but it's just kind of a stagnation phase. We're going to cover Bitcoin. It's kind of a flat phase, so possibly crypto is also expecting and wants to see, will Trump stick to his word and actually do the things that he said that he will do for crypto. So yeah, you have to keep that in mind. Another thing I can tell you is Q1 of any year is usually a pretty good trending period. So usually my best trades or most of my percentage comes from a Q1 of any single year. So January, February, and March are usually pretty good months, and I like trading them. We have some questions. So Forex Sniper, how to catch the pound USD bottom, and can you also cover USD JPY? Yeah, sure. So let's do both of those right now. So let's do first the daily on the pound US dollar, and this one seems to be overall moving down. I can definitely see a pretty significant downtrend on the pound and the US dollar. It is definitely moving down from, I would say, the 27th of September, just crushing lower. This has been a pretty big move, around 8%. So the pound US dollar has lost around 8% of its value, which is pretty bad if you're in the UK. And for us trend traders, you could have taken some sell setups in here. Okay, so what I personally focus on is I focus on the 1 hour chart to execute setups. My analysis or conclusion from this daily chart is a bearish one. I would say the pound US dollar is pretty bearish. And on the 1 hour chart, I can also see pretty bearish price action. And this is actually price action that I personally like. So we have a drop, bit of a pullback, drop, small pullback, drop, pullback, another drop. So pretty much this is trending down. Okay, this is definitely trending down with a lot of force, I would say, as well. If I take a look at the candles, they seem pretty large, especially this one. And these two are good as well. There was a flag here, or you could still get in on a flag setup right here. That is our flag setup. So let's mark it up. First low, first high, second low, second high. The red candle is your entry candle. For me, this one did not fit the plan. The reason is basically I'm seeing a bit of too much buying pressure here. So it's kind of a wick plus buying pressure. Sorry. It's a wick, large wick plus buying pressure. So this candle is pretty bad. And for that reason, I wanted to see kind of a larger flag like this, and then like a range and then a flag, right? So I wanted to see a bit of a wider flag. That would have fit the plan, but this one, this current formation just doesn't. The flag happened a bit too quickly, and we didn't have time to process, let's say, this warning sign of a large wick and bullish pressure right there. My game plan is, of course, I will put the pound US dollar on the watch list. I think it looks pretty good. I have a bearish bias. I would like to see price melt down more and then a sell setup. Okay, that is my game plan. That is what I would like to see. What is the main issue? Well, the main issue is that tomorrow is non-farm payroll, and pretty much I again stopped taking setups at around 1 a.m. So my cutoff time is here. And I don't think in the next couple of hours we will get the setup that I want to see. So I don't think this trade is actually going to happen this week. Maybe next week. Again, it is on the watch list. In the next week, I would like to see also NFP be bullish for the dollar. That would pretty much cause the price to shoot lower. And then I would look for sell setups going into the next week. Now, to answer your question, Forex Sniper, how to catch the pound US dollar bottom, I would say that is not a good way to go. So catching bottoms or catching tops is pretty tough. I would say it's actually impossible as well, especially if you only solely rely on technical indicators. And I for sure am not trying to catch any tops or catch any bottoms. I'm a trend trader, so I just get in on a trend. And I would not be trying to be a buyer in this market or look at the daily chart or a buyer in this market. So you could do some support and resistance and say, this is now support right here. We're going to bounce, or we're going to wait for this level to hit, blah, 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 blah. But in my personal opinion, and from what I've read online and from what I've heard from successful traders, that sort of an approach doesn't work. So catching bottoms by using levels like this is just not going to work. Okay. And that is my best answer for you. I hope I can steer you in the right direction. So instead of catching tops or bottoms, you should focus on catching the trend. Because if you get in on a trend, there's a pretty high chance that that trend will continue. So if you get in, I don't know, you get in right here on a sell setup that I was talking about, like this, there's a pretty high chance that we're going to follow with the bearish momentum and you're going to make a profit. Okay, much better chance of that happening than catching the bottom of this move. So traveler says, I think that's Baxter. So what's up, Baxter? The end of a momentum should always be considered. No, I would say we never focus on the end of momentum. I would say we never focus on the end of the move. We focus on, let's say, finding out when the move has just started, and then we try to get in. So we do have some indication by looking at the momentum of when it's dying down, but we never focus on the end of momentum because, again, our goal is not to catch the top or the bottom. Our goal is to spot the trend in its early form and then get in, and then for that trend to continue. In this case, I have spotted the downtrend right here. This is pretty bearish, and I'm looking to get in. And the probabilities are telling me that this has a high chance of continuing to go lower. Forex Sniper, yeah, no worries. Hope that helps, and good luck with your future trading. So Daisy, USD JPY for you. This is a pretty important currency pair. So starting on the daily, daily chart looks it looks bullish. Okay, we're definitely seeing dollar strength. I mean, all over the place. If you look at the DXY is just crushing to the upside. So we're definitely seeing a lot of dollar strength on every single currency pair. But to be honest, USD JPY, it does not look the greatest. So the momentum is there, but we're kind of not moving as impulsively. Especially here on the top, a bit of a slowdown right here. Again, just broke this high and retraced. So each time we break the high, I'm not seeing that sort of commitment that I want to see. Okay, zooming in on the 1 hour where I actually take some entries, and it looks like this pair is pausing a little bit. We're definitely pretty flat, corrective and range bound. See right here, this is pretty flat. Okay, and once again, very important, we do have NFP coming in. So tomorrow, and we do have Trump coming into office on the 20th of January. Okay, so possibly the market is a bit stagnant. The market is a bit flat because it doesn't really know what to expect. So it's not really prepared, and people are on the sidelines. They're waiting to see what will happen. Okay. Okay, hope that clears things up. So UJ really doesn't look good. I would not have it on my watch list. I think pound US dollar looks much, much better. So will that be a news event, planned news event? Trump coming into office is not, I don't think it's going to be displayed here. Okay, I don't think that is going to happen, but it is definitely like a fixed date and a fixed time, I believe, as well. So it's definitely going to be on the 20th of January, but it is not mentioned. I don't believe it's going to be mentioned right here in the bottom. One more calendar that I highly, highly recommend you guys use. I'm going to bring it up right now. It is called Forex Factory Calendar. It's super useful. I use it all the time. Okay, so let me just bring it up. Let's stop sharing this and let's present. Put this up. Share screen. Okay. Crap. Wait, give me 1 second. This is pretty important. Here it is. Okay, so this should be your best friend if you're trading Forex. This is the Forex Factory calendar. Okay, so let me also expand it a little bit as well. And you can see for this week we have NFP mentioned right here. You have the actual number that's going to come out. You have the forecast. You have the previous number. If we go the next week, we can see basically just no, sorry. So let's check out what is going to happen next week. Okay, let's do it like this. Apply. So you can see the dates, and you can see the Monday, January 20th. That is the date that I was talking about. Let's also do it like this. And we don't have the event mentioned on here. So it is not mentioned on here, but every other event, you can see all of the red folder news events. So if this thing is red, if the impact is red, it's going to be pretty market moving. This is pretty important. High impact expected. And this website is where you get all of the most important news events for Forex. So great website, absolutely free, and I use it all the time. So very important. Okay, back to TradingView. Stop sharing this. Present, share, window. Okay, we're back. Daisy says, so would you sell USD JPY? Would I sell it? No, I would not, because I personally don't see any potential in a sell setup right here. I see this as being pretty flat. I see it as being pretty corrective. I'm not seeing any pattern, any bearish pattern. I'm not seeing a downtrend. I'm not seeing any sort of an indication to look for sell setups. So I would just be patient. That would be my personal play if I was live trading the US dollar JPY. Traveler, would that potentially predict a spike in price given the long stagnancy? Possibly, yeah, possibly. So I think it really depends on what is Trump gonna do on day one. So is he gonna implement a lot of policies, or will he just basically chill a little bit and maybe implement some policies a bit later? If he goes in, starts implementing lots of policies on day one, as he said in his campaign, well, then you're going to see a lot of movement in the price. You're definitely going to see price spiking up or down depending on the bullish or bearish results of that specific, let's say, news event. But that's pretty wild. And for all the traders that used to trade when Trump was in office, like, what was it now, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? 4 years ago, Trump is pretty heavy on tweets, and he is pretty heavy on, let's say, breaking news events. So when he tweets, it's usually pretty market moving, and it's usually pretty fun as well if you're a trader, because he can post a tweet, it can move the markets a lot. And if you're quick enough, if you're following his tweets, you can make a lot of money if you're, of course, trading on the very, very short time frame and scalping. So I think it's great that Trump is in office. I think it's going to bring a lot of volatility to the markets. And what traders love is we love volatility. What we don't like is when the markets are just flat, corrective, and just not moving anywhere. We like for the markets to actually move somewhere. That is how we can make some percentage. That is basically inefficient markets, and that is what traders love. Okay. Okay, have you covered GJ? If not, could you do a review? Yeah, for sure. I can do GJ. I think it's a pretty interesting currency pair to actually break down. So GJ, on the daily, it's looking pretty flat. When I compare it to, let's say, the pound and the US dollar, just look at a clear difference. See this one? Daily chart, pretty flat and corrective in my personal opinion. GU, definitely moving down. Okay, so GJ doesn't look as good. Back to GJ. Anyway, if I zoom in, 1 hour is what I actually focus on, and I would say this looks pretty bearish overall, with a bit of a break of structure on the bottom. We have had a big leg down, another good leg down as well. So we were in a definite downtrend. Push down, small pullback, push down, pullback, push down, small pullback, another push, and now a bit of a break of structure on the bottom, kind of breaking the lows, breaking the lows, breaking the highs, breaking the highs. I don't like this thing, but for me, to be honest, my forecast is the same as on the pound and US dollar. I want to see, going into the next week, I want to see another drop on these charts. Okay, I want to see another drop, and then I would potentially look for sell setups. Okay, so also, what do you think about Ukraine cutting off oil supply from Russia? Do you think this can push oil to about 80 per barrel? Well, I do have oil right here, US oil, currently at 74. So we can do a quick analysis since I'm going to do it anyway. Oil has been pretty flat for most of my live streams in the last couple of months, I would say, even. Just pretty corrective right here. There was nothing to talk about, and now looks like oil has woken up a little bit, starting to gain value against the dollar. Okay, starting a bit of an uptrend. Just a little one, nothing much, just a little one. If I go on the 1 hour, pretty significant uptrend actually. If I was trading this, which I'm not, it's not my specialty, I haven't tested this. there is a potential kind of a break and retest right here. So there were a couple of buy setups you could have taken during this uptrend. Now, in terms of fundamentals, Ukraine cutting off oil supply from Russia. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm going to have to admit. First, I don't know anything about oil fundamentally. Okay, so first, I'm purely a technical trader. I am learning fundamentals, but for trading, I still use solely technicals. Second, oil, I really don't find interesting because most of the time, oil is pretty corrective, pretty flat like this, pretty choppy, if you ask me, and pretty tough to trade. So I tend to avoid it. And the final thing is that fundamentally, I just don't know anything about oil. So sorry, I can't help you on that. What I do recommend is you can jump on the Trader Nick's live stream and put a question there. He knows a lot more about fundamentals and he may be able to clear things up for you. But I think that's a pretty good question. And if you're following the fundamentals, I think you're going to find some very interesting things. So just keep on doing that. Keep on researching. Keep on learning. ChatGPT is great. It has been great for me. I have been trying to get into the fundamentals because as a trader, I do believe you should know about most things that concern trading. So ChatGPT has been really, really helpful on gathering all sorts of different information, especially for like Fed meetings, which I'm working on right now. It can really gather a lot of information from a lot of different sources in a short amount of time. So it really saves you a lot of time. Okay. So Ben asks, how was your 2024? It was great. It was a great year. We launched Zentum Trading, which if you guys want to join, so we do have a discount running. I think the discount is running for 4 more hours. So, or 5 more hours. You have 5 more hours if you want to get 25% off and join Zentum Trading. We are celebrating our 1 year. So 12 months have passed since the launch. And because of that, if you guys want to join right now for the next 5 hours, so up until midnight London time, you have 25% off. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's not only me, you have Nico, you have Griffin there as well. So free traders helping you along the way. You have the Discord, you have a full course going from zero to consistently profitable, everything you need, full support, Zentum Trading. So yeah, and in terms of return, it wasn't the best. It was a kind of a tough year, more corrective year. I think I finished at around 15% return. The drawdown was pretty rough as well. I think it was like 12%. So the return to drawdown ratio was not great. Again, as a swing trader on the 1 hour chart, I'm going to have good years. I'm going to have bad years. I'm going to have mediocre years, part of the game. But on a large sample size, I'm going to be profitable. I'm going to make some very good percentage. That is all that matters. But as a year, I think it was a really, really interesting year, and I progressed a lot. I learned a lot of cool things about trading, and I got in fundamentals, got into researching fundamentals, which I think is going to be really, really valuable in the future. I also got into crypto, so I have some crypto investments which are working out, I would say, pretty good. They're not big, but I'm happy with them. So I think crypto is really cool as well. Traveler says, could you elaborate what BOS means or predicts? Where did you find that term? Do you mean like a break of structure, or is it something connected with fundamentals? So if you could just clear that up in the chat, because usually when I read BOS, I think about a break of structure, and a break of structure would be a break of structure. A good example would be, I don't know, let's find, we can do it on the S&P. So you could say that the structure is this trend line. Right here, you had a trend line and it's now broken. See, so you have one, kind of two taps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one broke the structure. So that would be a BOS or a break of structure. What does it mean? Well, in this case, it could mean that the market is going to drop. Okay. Usually a break of structure means that the market is going to do something. So it's been pretty flat, and then a break of structure happens, and then we can see some activity either to the upside or to the downside. Yeah, so it's break of structure. Okay, so that's basically it. Or a very simple explanation is when you have a range, a flat range like this, and then a break of structure would be when the market breaks out of the range. Up or down doesn't matter. Okay, this impulse is a break of structure, or to the downside, this. Now that is a break of structure. So pretty simple. Is it important for me personally? I don't use that term, and it's not that important. So Traveler asks, what are the differences between technicals and fundamentals? So technicals means charts. Technicals means price. Okay, charts, price, visuals, indicators. That's it. Those are technical. That's technical analysis. And that is what I currently trade. I trade purely technical analysis, and that is what we teach in Zentum trading. What are fundamentals? Fundamentals are some of the key news events or like extraordinary events that happen that are not that you cannot really see on the charts, or you can see the price action print, but fundamentals are basically this. If we go to the euro and US dollar, most simple example, news events. Okay, you have non-farm payroll, unemployment, CPI, PPI. Then another one is presidential elections. Another one would be a war happening, so the Russia-Ukraine war. Another fundamental would be the coronavirus, like the big meltdown. If you go to the daily chart, or let's say the weekly chart on the S&P 500, you're gonna see the coronavirus impact right here. See? The big meltdown. That is a fundamental play. Okay. So fundamentals are events that happen that push the markets drastically up or down. Ben asks, do all the mentors in the group teach the same strategy? Yes, we do. So we all trade the same strategy. We pretty much execute pretty similar setups. There's a little bit of a difference, but the strategy is completely the same. Every single trader views the market a bit differently. So I may see a setup, but Nico may see like a different setup, a little bit of a different setup, or I may take a trade and Griff maybe stays out. But in the end, all of us have like a pretty similar way of viewing the market, and all of us can help you in a pretty similar way. So yeah, it's just one strategy being taught. It's pretty simple and it's pretty straightforward. Okay, we try to minimize discretion with that strategy, and we really try to teach you guys something that there's no that you don't have any questions like, well, what is this, what is that, what if this happens, what if that happens. There's like clear rules to get in a trade and clear rules to get out of a trade. So we try to make it as simple as we can while still having a profitable strategy to teach you guys. Call me sir took a few buy setups during the initial uptrend of oil. Okay, so you probably got in back on the daily. You probably got in somewhere here, which is pretty good. Congrats if you managed to do that. I would say that is a pretty good achievement. And if you have like a clear plan and you're not just doing things kind of on a whim and just how you feel. So if you have a clear trading plan, that is pretty good, and I congratulate you. I'm Batman. Hey Batman, what's up? So Will Experiment says, gdje si brate, kako ide? Jel zlato biće bullish? So Will Experiment wants to know about the gold. Yep. And for gold, I would say we are kind of in no man's land. Okay. For me, this is flat just by looking at this chart, gauging the momentum. I'm not seeing momentum up, not seeing momentum down. I'm not seeing any high probability patterns. One thing that is interesting, if you take a look, the dollar is definitely gaining a lot of strength. So the DXY, which is an indication of dollar strength, is just shooting to the upside, okay, massively going up. And all of our dollar pairs are just melting to the downside. So see, all of them just going lower. And gold, for some reason, is just staying flat. So gold is doing nothing, which is a bullish sign. Okay, so if you look at like pair correlation, that would be a bullish sign, because that means that gold is kind of gaining strength, but you don't see it. It's not losing strength. So every single dollar pair is going down and losing against the dollar, but gold is actually holding and being flat. That is a bullish sign for gold. Now, again, if I zoom in, the daily chart looks flat. The 1 hour chart also looks pretty flat, in my personal opinion. So I'm not seeing much as just a purely technical trader on my little 1 hour chart. I'm not seeing any potential for like momentum trades. Okay. But if I had to, let's say, give a bias, it would be a bullish one. If I had to give a bias, it would be a bullish one. I would expect this to happen because, again, every dollar pair is going down. Gold is holding a straight level here. Now, the title of this live stream is that I'm looking for buy setup on the JPY pairs. So let's cover that. I think that is also why a lot of people will join this live stream. That is because, so I have AJ and NJ on my watch list on the 1 hour chart. So we can do the daily chart as well. Daily chart, daily chart is pretty flat right here in this very short time frame, or the very short price action. Overall, not the best. Again, this market condition was awesome. If we can get another drop like this, that would be amazing. Zooming in on the 1 hour, I am actually seeing a pretty nice pattern. So I'm seeing a pretty clean pattern, which is a descending channel. It is a bullish pattern. And in my back testing, I've seen it happen a lot of the time, where you get this descending channel, price struggles to break lower. See, each time we break the low. So each time we break the low, we struggle. And we just cannot do it. Or we can do it, we do break the low, but we struggle. So we don't print a lot of momentum. And that is a bullish sign. That means that selling pressure is kind of exhausted, right? Selling pressure is not that strong, and a possible reversal can happen. I just need one more thing. I need a push up. I need a big blue candle, and then I would be looking for any sort of a buy setup, entry setup that happens here. Flag, break and retest, reversal, basically anything that I can get if I get the large blue candle. So I think AJ looks great to buy, but I need another confirmation for it to be a valid setup for me. NJ is the same story. It has actually broken the high, but I'm not yet seeing the big blue candle that I want to see. Again, we have broken 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times we have just broken the lows, or actually 5 times, sorry. So there's a little bit of a break of the low here. And we are struggling to go lower. So each time we break lower, we are getting wicks and we're not getting momentum, right? And that for me is a pretty good sign that the markets are going to reverse up. So we have broken this most recent high, which is something that we pay a lot of attention to at Zentum Trading, but there's not a lot of momentum. And I can see Traveler asks, how large should a blue candle be to be considered an entry point? Well, it should be pretty large. I would say like this. Okay, I would say that is the size. If you want to see kind of a clear example, I have one for you. 23 December. right here, although this was a sell setup, but if we flip it, we can flip it options I. So this is an inverted chart, but basically this is the descending channel, and this would be the candle that I need to see. Okay, this is the size of the candle that I'm looking at or looking for. See, it's pretty big. Doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, there's a pretty good trade that happens after that. Okay. So yeah, also I'm paying attention to NFP. Don't forget, tomorrow NFP non-farm payroll. I'm not trading it. I'm ceasing all trading operations, or I'm not taking new setups after 1 or 2 a.m. on NFP Friday. YouTube user, hey, hello Marco from the mysterious trader with no name. Hey, what's up? Hope you have a great day, and yeah, thank you for joining. Traveler asks, why are the pairs so similar? Because of JPY? Exactly. So most of the time, New Zealand JPY and Aussie JPY are gonna look pretty much the same. Okay, they're gonna look pretty much the same. What is the reason why I trade both of them? Because if you take a trade on both of them, you kind of have double exposure. Well, the reason I trade both is sometimes one of them will print a high probability entry and the other one won't. Example, if we go back to here, see this? That was the trade. I think I took it with a 12 pip stop loss. See, and it actually tagged me in and started dropping. But that same trade, if we go to AJ at the same time, I think this should work. Yeah, 27th of December, 2023. AJ is not looking that good. See, AJ has not presented us with a sell entry. So the price action is similar, but sometimes you'll get an entry on one and the other one will not produce an entry. So that is the reason why I trade both of them. Okay. Yeah, this was a pretty good trade. Anyway, starting to get some momentum now. We are attempting, so we still have 17 more minutes. So this is a live candle. And if this does push up a bit more like this, I'll have my buy limit. Let me check at which level. 390, 390. So I'll probably be looking for a flag because my level would be this one for a buy limit order. And that's that would be pretty far away, I would say, from the current price level. So I would prefer to get in on a flag. So something like this, maybe a bit more momentum like this, and then a flag. Will I have the time to enter in on a buy setup before NFP? So before my cutoff time? I don't think so. I don't think that will happen. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, well, doesn't matter. I'll get in on another setup, or I will try to get in next week. FX Preacher, I just saw this. I don't know what you do live. I'm from Nigeria. I also did a reaction of your video on my channel. Oh, awesome. I'll have to check it out. So, yeah, pretty cool. I'll take a look. Okay, so we have skipped some pairs. So EU overall kind of stuck between the low and the high. And if you guys have any more questions, any more chart requests, make sure to put them in the chat and I will go through all of them. I have my chat open on the side. But now I'll do the pairs that we skipped. So EU. Well, I'm bearish on EU because of this move. But again, this is a bit of an aggressive pullback here. And we're kind of ranging around. And we have NFP tomorrow. And we have Trump coming into office. So we have a lot of events that perhaps the bigger players are waiting on the sidelines, and perhaps we're not going to get as much action as we need. So I would not be surprised if we just get a little bit of, let's say, more range-bound price action in this area right here on the euro and US dollar. This pair is not on my watch list. I'm not seeing any high probability pattern here to sell. I'm being patient. EJ. Now EJ looks similar to AJ and NJ, but AJ and NJ look a little bit cleaner. So these pairs actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive breaks of the low, which is a pretty high probability sign that it's going to go up. But this one has a little bit of a break of structure. So we do have break of the low, break of the low, break of the high, break of the high. See right here, there's a little bit of a break of structure. But overall, I would say that this is descending. So it is printing a descending channel. And you know what? For that reason, I will put this one on the watch list as well. So it doesn't look as good as AJ or NJ, but still we can get something out of this. I think this is a pretty good pattern, and I'm bullish. I'm bullish on the Euro JPY. Possibly we can get something on like this and get in on some buy setups. All right. Just quick glance on the daily chart. Yeah, the daily chart is kind of flat. So the daily chart is kind of going nowhere, flat, no man's land. I would like, of course, it doesn't matter what I would like, but I just want to point your attention to this move. This is what you want to see. This is when like the best trades happen in these large moves on the daily chart. This one as well. This one, this drop. So that is when the best trades actually happen. All right. Anyway, getting back on our 1 hour, I also want to remind you guys. So this is going to be like the final reminder for today is we have our discount running. Okay, so Zentum Trading, 25% discount. We're celebrating our first birthday. The discount is active for, I think, 5 more hours up until midnight London time. Make sure to use it if you want to get in. Now is the best time. Okay, 25% off. Or you can join the free Discord if you don't want to join the paid. The paid version, you can join our free Discord. We have some value in there as well. Okay. So Traveler is going to join, but I do believe Traveler is already in Zentum Trading. If I have the right guy, I'm not sure. I do think this is Baxter. So thank you for your support. Anyway, EJ is done. Aussie US dollar is descending on our 1 hour chart, correctively moving down. Okay, breaking the lows and retracing. It's not looking the best, especially here on the bottom. So at this point, it was looking pretty interesting for a bullish scenario. I liked this formation, but like I really zoom in on price action, as you can see. So I really pay attention to what is happening candle by candle. And this break of the high and retrace and this break of the high and retrace was pretty much enough for me to not like this setup. So to stay out of this setup, okay? This is a warning sign. I'm looking for clean descending channels. It's one of the patterns that I like to look for. And this is not a clean descending channel. We have first a little bit of a break of structure here where we broke the high. And now on the bottom, we're getting some messy price action. It looks kind of like this. See? Break of the low, break of the high. Low, 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 low. Break of the high, break of the high. That is more of an indication of a corrective market and a kind of a range-bound market, which is not something that I want to be, trading. So this pair is not going to be on the watch list. That's about it for the 6 ones that I trade live. So EJ, AJ, Pound, and NJ are interesting. AU and EU, I need some more. And again, please remember, we do have NFP and we have Trump going into office, which may be the reason why you can see a lot of instruments are being a little bit flat. And that brings me on to our next instrument, which is going to be the S&P 500. Okay, so the S&P 500, it's looking pretty flat here, wouldn't you say? I would say so. And on our 1 hour chart, I cannot see much potential. The daily is, we had a big drop, rejection. So I would say this is a little bit flat here on the short term. A little bit of indecision. Now, overall, if I had to give a bias, I would be bullish. I'm still pretty bullish on the S&P 500. This is the way that the S&P likes to move. It moves in sort of ascending or descending channels, right? As you can see right here. So we are respecting sort of this trend line, depending on how you draw it. But I would say we are still on track. Okay, I would say we are still on track. I don't see a big bearish case. This meltdown that happened is normal. We have had it happen before. Look at this. Look at this. Right here, a big one. Then we rejected. Here, a huge one, but we rejected. And overall, we are pretty much trucking along on this daily chart, just going to the upside with no real big signs of stopping. Okay, no real big signs of stopping. That is why I'm pretty bullish. NASDAQ, same thing. So same thing on NASDAQ. I'm pretty bullish on the NAS 100. That is just how these indices move. What I found is Forex tends to move in a more cleaner fashion, I would say. I mean, if you take a look at, let's say, this downtrend, I think this looks a bit cleaner than the S&P. Or you can look at, I don't know, this uptrend. It looks a little bit better, a little bit easier to read, in my personal opinion. And these are all daily charts, or EJ. Like this meltdown was pretty good, pretty clean. Or this uptrend, pretty clean as well. And now to S&P. The pullbacks are a bit more aggressive. So the pullbacks are a bit heavier. And that is why I have tried applying my strategy that I use for Forex. I have tried backtesting it on the S&P. I did make money, but it wasn't that much. So it was kind of some years break even, some years a bit positive. Overall, it's not worth it if you count in spreads, if you count in commissions. I would need a bit of a different strategy because the pullbacks are a bit more aggressive. And in most cases, I got taken out before the trade actually went into my direction. So it would be like I spotted an uptrend, then I got taken out, and then the price moved up. Or I got in here, got taken out, then price moved up. Or let's say got in here, got taken out, price moved up. So yeah. Gold we did pretty flat, but still, overall, if you compare it to the dollar, it is the only, you could say, pair or the only instrument that is actually not losing value against the dollar and is pretty flat against the dollar, which in the end could be bullish if you look at pair correlation. Silver, I don't have much to say for silver. I think silver is looking pretty flat as well. Again, silver follows gold, like crypto or like altcoins follow Bitcoin. So gold moves first, then you have silver following, and Bitcoin moves first, then you have Ethereum follow Bitcoin. All right. Hope that makes sense. Next one is going to be Bitcoin. Not the best story. So just a quick introduction about Bitcoin. A big bearish sign for me personally would be, I'm looking at the daily chart because most of these things I would look at more as longer term investments, not as trading assets, but more long term. Okay, so if you want to buy the S&P 500, hold it for a couple of years, maybe a decade or two. That is a great plan. Or if you want to buy Bitcoin, hold it for a few years. I think that is a pretty good plan as well. A big bearish indication for Bitcoin would be two big red candles printing one after the other. Okay, so this sort of a print would be bearish on Bitcoin. Right now we do have this big level of support, which some people may pay attention to. I mean, I think a lot of people pay attention to. But also we have a big psychological level of 100K. So I believe that this level is being tested. So Bitcoin is looking to see what will happen. The investors are looking to see what will happen. And this level is being tested, okay? So I cannot really get a reading, a bullish or a bearish one, out of what I'm seeing right here. I was pretty bullish at this point. I was pretty bullish on Bitcoin, but now in the last couple of days, weeks, it's not been looking that bullish. So I'm pretty neutral. What also could be happening is, of course, Trump was pretty vocal about Bitcoin. He talked about it on a number of occasions, and he was pretty bullish on Bitcoin. And he also said that he will possibly implementing some policies regarding Bitcoin, some bullish policies. So I also think, and that this is actually an idea from trader Nick, is a lot of people are on the sidelines, a lot of big investors are on the sidelines, and they want to see Trump actually follow through on what he said. So they want to see Trump follow through on his words. And that could happen once he gets into office on the 20th of January, maybe not on day one, but in the first few days, first few weeks, you could see some developments on Bitcoin. If the developments are bullish, if Trump actually does what he said that he will do, you could see price go up a lot more. Okay, you could see price go up a lot more. If he doesn't deliver, well, you could see price drop. The first big level is going to be 74K. That could be a level of support. But this is not unusual. I would say this is pretty normal because a lot of people are waiting to see what will happen when Trump gets into office, and then they will make a decision if they're bullish or if they are bearish. Ethereum is a pretty sad case, dropping a lot. I think it's back at the levels where I personally bought. So I'm now at the break-even position for Ethereum. What you gonna do? It's a pretty long-term hold for me, so I'm not concerned. But anyway, this looks a lot more bearish. You do have two big red candles. This is a big bearish candle. I mean, this chart just looks a lot worse than Bitcoin. I would say Bitcoin looks a lot more healthy than Ethereum. So Ethereum looking pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty bad right here. And the final one I have for you today, and then we're gonna pretty much wrap it up because it's been 1 hour, is the DXY. The DXY is pretty important. It's an indication of the dollar's strength. And if you're trading the dollar pairs, this chart is gonna impact you. Okay, so I do believe you need to be closely watching this chart as well. If this thing goes up, you can expect EU, AU, GU to go down. That is exactly what is happening right now. This thing is shooting up. Pound US dollar dropping out of the sky. Okay, so DXY looks super healthy. Super healthy, super bullish, looking at the technicals, looking at the momentum. Here, it was just ripping higher, a lot of strength. Here as well, very bullish. Right here, big bullish legs to the upside, and now possibly continuing as well. So I'm bullish on the DXY. I do expect more dollar strength. That's good for us. I don't care if the price goes up. I don't care if it goes down, as long as it's going somewhere. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see flat prices. As long as we're getting volatility, as long as we're getting some trends, as long as we're getting some inefficient markets, we can make some percentage. So I think this is good for us traders. And I do think this has more upside, more steam to go up. I don't see any signs of slowing down. So yeah, the DXY looking healthy. It may be good for some people, bad for some other people. Again, the US does want to keep the dollar not this strong, okay, because it has to do with imports, exports, blah, blah, blah. It's very complicated. I'm not going to go into it right here. But so for the US, this may not be great. But for us traders, I do think any movement is good. And if we can make percentage on it, it's pretty good for us. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any last minute questions, put them in the chat right now. But I will probably see you guys next week on Thursday. So this is the time for the live stream. Thursdays at around, I think it's 5 p.m. London time is the start. Okay, so yeah, 5 p.m. London time Thursday is the start of the live stream. Hope you guys have a great 2025. Good luck in 2025. If you have not done so already, do a review of 2024. I've done all of that. So I've reviewed my 2024, saw things I did good, saw things that I need to improve. I made my goals. So make sure you do your 2025 goals as well. Of course, break them down into smaller chunks. So if you have a goal of backtesting, let's say 6 currency pairs on the last 5 years of data, that's a good goal, but you need to break it down into smaller chunks. So you need to break it down into monthly tasks, weekly, and then daily. So let's say every day I will backtest 2 months of price action. That is a goal that is going to enable you to, at the end of the year, backtest 6 currency pairs on 5 years of data. So set your goals. It's really important. Break them down into small daily tasks that you can easily achieve. And that is the path for success. FX Preacher, no worries. Thank you very much for tuning into the live stream. So good luck with trading. NFP coming up. Trump in office coming up. It's going to be interesting. And I will see you guys in the next video.